What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back for yet another video for you guys. This is actually a CD collection update. It's been a little over a month since I've done one of these, and while I have a little stack here, I kind of tried to wean myself from buying too much this time around. Trying to save up just a little bit of money, because I'm actually, this weekend, as of recording this video, I'm going to be getting Gran Turismo 7 on my PS4, and thinking about doing some live streams with that game over on Twitch, so that will be quite a bit of fun, to say the very least. But I do have enough CDs here for a collection update. This is only the second collection update I've done so far here in 2022, and while it's not as monumental as previous updates I've done, I've got a decent enough here to showcase to you guys. And it's a big variety of stuff. Like, we get everything from thrash to goth to classic rock to prog, and even a little bit of death metal. So without further ado, let's get started with the update. So the first CD that I got, and this finally completed like the classic Black Sabbath albums, and I'd been slacking on getting this album forever, and that is Mob Rules, the second one with Ronnie James Dio on vocals, and this was just a year after Heaven and Hell came out, so 1981, Martin Birch producing. Sign of the Southern Cross, I mean, that song alone makes this album fucking great. But also the title track, Turn Up the Night, Falling Off the Edge of the World over and over, like top to bottom. This is a worthy sequel to Heaven and Hell, even though I like Heaven and Hell a little bit more than Mob Rules, and I think, if I remember right, I think I ranked Mob Rules at number 10 on my Black Sabbath discography ranking episode for the Horseman podcast we did a while back. But still, it's a great album. It was a great follow-up to my personal favorite Dio era album. So yeah, Mob Rules. Finally in the collection after all these years. Next up, speaking of a band I've been slacking on getting releases from, considering I'm a huge thrash fan, I mean thrash maniac, and there was always one of the big three German thrash bands that I kept forgetting to get a CD from, and I finally went ahead because I saw it was on sale over at Hell's Headbangers. So I decided to finally get it, and that is Eternal Devastation by Destruction. When it comes to like the big three German thrash bands, Sodom, Creator, and Destruction, I prefer Creator and Sodom over Destruction, but Destruction's a great band, and hell, the new album coming out sounds like it's going to be killer. But here, 1986, during the golden year of thrash, and they put out maybe their best album, and that's this. Songs like Curse the Gods, Life Without Sense, Eternal Band, Confused Mind. Definitely these guys showcased a gift for melody and evilness. So, yeah, I need to get some more Destruction releases. Like, I want to get the Sins of Death and Mad Butcher EPs, as well as their debut album, Infernal Overkill, at some point. And their album from 1990, I think it was released from Agony, I believe it was called. So yeah, and then some of the recent stuff. So yeah, Destruction. The next two are going to be both from the same band. And this was another band that I was needing to get some CDs from. And after watching my good buddies Metal Ben and Damaged Incorporated, Ryan and Ben, or Ben and Ryan respectively, they did a Dream Theater discography ranking live stream, and it sparked my interest in finally getting some more Dream Theater albums, so I got two right here. So we got Awake and Train of Thought. Both of these albums are two of the heaviest Dream Theater albums. Awake because, you know, 1994, 7-string guitars are starting to come in, mostly through nu metal, but Dream Theater kind of took a little bit of that, but made it into something of their own, made the riffs thicker and heavier, plus the musicianship is top-notch. Of course, it's Dream Theater. Musicianship's always going to be top-notch. I mean, songs like 6 O'Clock, Lie, even the acoustic track, The Silent Man, is pretty fucking sweet on this album. And then as far as Train of Thought, the heaviest Dream Theater album, because holy shit do they get dark and brooding on this album. Tracks like As I Am, In the Name of God, Endless Sacrifice, Stream of Consciousness. I mean, all of these songs pack a furious punch. And to start it off with As I Am, one of their best songs, fucking fantastic stuff. Next up, kind of along with the Destruction album, this is the other one that I got off of Hell's Headbangers. And it's another band that I'm actually kind of working slowly to getting some more releases from. And that is, of course, the Evil Incantation. And I got the album Upon the Throne of Apocalypse, which, for those who don't know, is the original mix and the track listing in reverse order of their second album, Mortal Throne of Nazarene. I don't have Mortal Throne of Nazarene yet, but I do plan on getting it at some point. Though I will say, this album's mix blows Mortal Throne of Nazarene out of the water. It's so much heavier, a little more in-your-face sounding, whereas Mortal Throne kind of had a bit of that lo-fi, almost black metal feel, which I appreciate. There's just something about this version here, and plus starting off with the best album, or the best song in between both albums, Abolishment of Immaculate Serenity. Mwah, just death doom at its finest for Incantation. So yeah. This one was a unique grab because several weeks ago I went to some flea markets in Kentucky and didn't really get anything except for this. I got this brand new at a flea market for $3, and that is Point of No Return by Kansas. I've been needing to get a couple of Kansas albums because when it comes to like American prog rock, Kansas was one of the best bands in the 70s for that sound. And these guys, the best way, for those who don't know who Kansas are, think of Lynyrd Skynyrd mixed with Yes. Like, you have the prog musicianship of a band like Yes, but with that like sleazy, heavy yet catchy southern hard rock sound of Lynyrd Skynyrd, and you get Kansas. Of course, this album's mostly known for the classic song Dust in the Wind, but other tracks like Sparks Up the Tempest, the title track, Closet Chronicles, Lightning's Hand, definitely showcasing a real hard rock edge to their progressive rock style. And they're seen as one of the forefathers of, well, not a forefather, but seen as one of the best in classic rock. And this was actually the follow-up to the other album I need to get from Kansas, and that's Leftoverture with Carry On My Wayward Son. So yeah, Point of No Return by Kansas. Next up, to get further closer to completing the great albums from Creator, I finally went out and got their album Violent Revolution, their comeback album after Coma of Souls, and before this, the band went through an experimental phase, and a lot of it just did not work. Like, they would try groove metal, they tried industrial metal, they even went gothic metal for a couple of albums, and it just, not the best time for Creator. But they come back in 2001 with this gem of an album, and really it's been since this album that Creator's just been on a tear, because you know, you got Enemy of God, Hordes of Chaos, Phantom Antichrist, Gods of Violence, and hell, the new album coming out in June, which I can't wait for, and it's probably going to be mind-blowing. And really, this comeback run starts with this album. So yeah, Violent Revolution by Creator. And all I'm missing now is Enemy of God and Hordes of Chaos, and I would have all of the great Creator albums. No stop. Next up, this one I just got yesterday as of recording this video, and I just did the review for this album Sunday, and that is the new Midnight album, Let There Be Witchery. Of course, if you want to know my full opinion about this album, go check out my review that I did a few days ago. But short, sweet, to the point, this is fun, catchy, blackened speed metal, heavy metal, really cool stuff. Think of a mix of Venom, Motorhead, and Judas Priest, for the most part, on this album, but with like a punk edge to it. Great stuff. So far, one of my favorites of 2022. Next two come from one of the best hard rock classic metal bands of all time, and that's the Scorpions. And I got, well, let me fix this real quick. I got two of their early 80s gems, and that is Animal Magnetism and Blackout. Especially Blackout, but Animal Magnetism, it's got some underrated songs on here, like 20th Century Man and the title track, but The Zoo, one of the best Scorpion songs of all time. So catchy. I'll never forget, I first heard that song when I was with my brother Rue in his truck or car, I forget. We were driving, I think, from a WWE house show, turned on to some classic rock radio, and that song came on, and we both loved it. But yeah, this is a really cool album. And then Blackout, probably, in my opinion, the best Scorpions album, because it was like the perfect balance of the stuff that happened from like Taken by Force through to Animal Magnetism, and then what they were going to do on Love at First Sting. So this album was like the perfect bridge between Animal Magnetism and Love at First Sting. Pretty heavy stuff, especially the song China White. Maybe the best Scorpion song of all time, because it's so heavy and dark sounding. And also, for you wrestling fans out there watching, that song was the basis for Sid Vicious's WCW theme song towards the end of WCW's run. But also the song Blackout, No One Like You, one of their biggest hits, When the Smoke's Going Down, top to bottom, probably the best Scorpions album of all time. Now these next four albums to complete my Typo Negative collection. I had the first three albums, Slow, Deep, and Hard, Origin of the Feces, and Bloody Kisses. I was missing the remaining four, so I went out and got the remaining drab four. See what I did there? So first, October Rust. I mean, their most lush, romantic album they ever did. Songs like Love You to Death and In Praise of Bacchus, My Girlfriend's Girlfriend. But even songs like Be My Druidess was fantastic. Redwater Christmas Morning. Haunted, Cinnamon Girl. Yeah, top to bottom. Fucking lush and fantastic stuff. And then to talk about going from the opposite, going from lush to just dark and sad, World Coming Down. Now this and the next two cost me a little bit of money to get because they're kind of hard to find for some reason. Because I don't know why Roadrunner doesn't just reissue this and the next album. But World Coming Down, maybe my favorite Typo album just because of how heavy and dark and bleak and depressing it is. Songs like White Slavery, Who Will Save the Sane, Everyone I Love Is Dead, the title track, Everything Dies. I mean, for those who know the backstory of this album, holy crap, poor Peter, may he rest in peace. And then, of course, after that, I got the album Life Is Killing Me, which definitely the most pop-oriented album, because it feels a little more upbeat on some of these tracks. But songs like I Don't Want to Be Me, Anesthesia, Gimme That, I'm not going to say the full title. But yeah, cool stuff on here. It would definitely be towards the bottom for if I were to eventually do my Typo Negative album ranking. This would be towards the bottom, but all 7 of their albums are great. But yeah, this one would definitely fall lower on the list just because it's an odd album. And then finally, now this is the most I've ever spent on an album. I paid $37 for this album because it comes with a DVD, and it's a special edition, and, well, it's the hardest Typo album to find, and it's the last one, Dead Again. So yeah, 2 discs, you got the album, I forget how you open this, oh yeah, it's like this, and then it comes with a DVD of some live songs, like live versions of Everything Dies, My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, Gravitational Constant, pretty much most of the hits on the live DVD, but yeah, the farewell album to the band and to Peter. So yeah, hard to find, cheap, but I managed to get it even though it cost me quite a bit. The most I've ever spent on an album, but to me, it was well worth it. Plus, this edition of the album is quite rare. And then the final album in this update is one that I reviewed earlier this year, well over a month ago, and it's maybe my favorite album of the year so far, and that is Vicious Knight's Alteration Through Possession. Got a lot of praise from people who liked my review for this, and even some praise from the band themselves, which, you're welcome, Vicious Knights. This is some fantastic death thrash from Greece with a little hints of black metal here and there. But yeah, this is a fantastic album, and I'm glad that I got it in the collection. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my collection update. Definitely not as long as previous updates. That's just because I didn't have a whole lot this time, but I had enough to do a video. Currently working on another stack. Well, I've ordered one album over the past few days, and eventually I'm going to get more. I'm not going to stop getting albums. I am taking little breaks here and there just so I can get other stuff like games and stuff for the computer and shit. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you guys think of all those albums I brought up? Out of all those albums I've shown, which one is your favorite? Answer that question in the comments below, and until next time, horns high, and I will see you soon.
I've noticed that once people hit Slayer, they're like, is there something more extreme than Slayer?
Yeah, it's the crossroad, you know. Either you're like, okay, this is too much, or you're like, I need more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I found Cannibal Corpse on YouTube when I was 12 or 13, and heard the Hammer Smash the Face bass solo.
Of course.
Of course, already then I was a bass player, but when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. This is it. And then it just spiraled downwards from there.
And it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it never stops. It devours you.
Yeah, because